program College Connect between DVC and San Ramon Valley Unified. This program, as you heard, or this presentation is being recorded, and it will be up on our website within tomorrow or the day after. So again, I'd like to welcome everybody for being here tonight. My name is Jessica Colson. I am the coordinator for SEL and College and Career Readiness for the San Ramon Valley Unified School District. And I'd like to let my two other co-presenters introduce themselves, Ginger and then Sarah.
Hi, I'm Ginger Clark, and I am the College Connect support teacher at California High School.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Peterson, and I am the Interim Academic Student Services Manager of Early College Credit at DVC. And we'll also have a couple of my colleagues from DVC, Anne, Marlena, and Tanisha in the chat as well.
And as a reminder, please use the Q&A feature for any questions that pop up, and we will try to get to them along the way, and also have some time at the end where we can field those questions for the whole group out loud after the presentation. Okay, so tonight we are going to be going over what is College Connect. Is it a good fit for me as a student or for my child? What is the structure of the program? What college courses are part of the program? What are my or my child's options after College Connect? How does the application process work? Going over important dates and next steps, and then, like I said, taking any questions. So what type of student is a good fit? Basically, there is no one type of student that is a good fit for our College Connect program. We are so excited that we are welcoming the 8th cohort this fall. So we have been going strong for the last 7 years. And over the years, what we have sort of compiled as a loose profile is that students should be hardworking, academically motivated, collaborative, and eager to take on new challenges and persevere through them. The College Connect program is a dual enrollment partnership between the San Ramon Valley Unified School District and DVC San Ramon campus. So all classes that are at DVC will happen either online or in person at the DVC San Ramon campus, not at the Pleasant Hill campus. It is a 2-year commitment for students who will be in 11th and 12th grades. And each semester, students can expect to take 4 classes at their home high school and 2 courses at DVC. So every academic year, students will take 4 DVC classes, 2 in the fall and 2 in the spring. In addition, there is a mandatory support class that meets weekly at the student's home school. And we will go into more information about that in just a few slides. So the College Connect program structure is something that I am going to go over and then turn it over to my colleague Ginger Clark for some more information. Like I said, there are 2 courses per semester, and DVC and San Ramon Unified have selected these courses. So these are set. This is what students will be taking, and there are no substitutions. Students receive both high school and college credits. That is one of the tenets of a dual enrollment program. 1 DVC course each summer. Those are optional, but they must be taken in order to reach the full 30 credits by the time high school graduation comes around. So 4 classes every academic year, and then 2 optional classes this upcoming summer, and then the summer after 11th grade. There are additional supports that are provided by the mandatory high school support class and dedicated DVC and San Ramon Valley Unified high school counselors. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ginger.
Yes, I would like to speak just a little bit about the support class that's offered at your home high school and the class that you will be required to attend, in addition to those 4 classes that Mrs. Colson was speaking of, and also in addition to the 2 DVC classes that you would be taking at the San Ramon campus. So the support class is designed to support students who are enrolled only in the College Connect program. The class does meet weekly and attendance is required. It's counted as part of your instructional minutes that you would have just being a high school student. Some of the topics that we cover, and all 4 of the teachers across the district at all 4 sites do the same thing. And the topics may include things like working on your time management skills and offering you some strategies with that. Also, we offer tips and suggestions on staying organized, as well as study skills that are applicable to those college classes that you're taking. We also provide college level writing workshops to help specifically tailored to the assignments that your professors are asking you to complete. We also provide study group sessions for you to work with other classmates who are in those programs with you at DVC. We also work on some strategies for staying motivated and setting goals for yourself. We certainly don't want you to have any issues or failures within the program. So it's really important that we are helping you stay motivated for that additional challenge that you are receiving, as well as setting those goals for yourself that are realistic and work within the scope of what you are able to do. When we get to that time that there are some exams in your college classes, we provide you with some additional preparation tips so that you feel like you can do your best when you walk in. And we certainly understand that tests, as well as college rigor, can offer some stress and some additional anxiety. So we do offer some tips and ideas for managing that stress for those tests, as well as any anxiety that you might feel, not just about the test, but also about being in those college classes. We do also give you some ideas on how to build that academic resume. Part of the benefit of being in that College Connect program is having those courses on your high school transcript as well as your college transcript. So we talk about what is going to look best for the schools that you are interested in applying to when it comes time for you to be doing that. And then preparing and planning for the transition that you will inevitably make when you move to a full-time college. That may not happen right away. You may choose to stay at DVC for that second year, but at some point, your goal is probably to move on to that four-year school, and our counselors especially will step in and help you with that process. We also do have some requirements as part of this College Connect program, and that does pair it with your support class. We do, as support teachers, work to make sure that you are participating the way that you need to and that you understand what those expectations are. We remind you of that as being part of the program, that you do need to maintain some of those requirements. So let's just take a look at those real quick. We've got homework and study. There is an expectation that you are devoting a minimum of 2 hours outside of class for every hour that you spend in class weekly. This does make things challenging in case you have other activities you're interested in, but it is doable. Obviously, we've got lots of students that have been able to find that balance, and we're here to support you to make sure that you can too. You also do need to participate in those College Connect activities, such as orientation that we will have. It's an exciting day. You get to learn all about how everything's going to go down for you and what it's going to look like. And it just helps you feel more confident and comfortable moving into the program in the fall. You do need to attend that support class and hang out with us weekly. So it gives us a chance to really check in with you. You do need to maintain a 2.5 GPA in all of your courses. We do keep track of your grades. And if we do see anything slipping, we do talk to you. We want to support you and we want to help you find that success in the program. So also, you could also reach out if you've got some concerns about your grades so that we can also try to help you. And we do want you to complete all those graduation requirements. The goal is to help you complete DVC as well as your high school experience. So we do expect that you're going to graduate from high school. And of course, we need you to adhere to all of the rules and policies that your homeschool and the district has in place, but also what they expect from you at DVC.
Great. Thank you so much, Ginger. So I'm going to go over a little bit about the College Connect fees and transportation. We are partnering with DVC to cover all textbook costs. We are very fortunate that many of the courses use open educational resources or zero cost textbooks, but for those that have an actual textbook, we do cover the cost for students. All course fees are waived. And however, if a student does lose or damage a book, they will be responsible for the cost of that textbook, just as they would be for any of the textbooks that they are issued for their San Ramon Valley Unified classes. And then Also, we are not responsible for any books, courses, or fees for any additional classes that high school students choose to take outside of the College Connect program. And our students are responsible for getting themselves to DVC. Transportation is not provided. And with this, I'm going to turn it over to Sarah Peterson to go over the logistics of the courses that the students will be taking and what a day might look like at DVC.
Okay, so we had a couple questions about classes in the chat, so I'm hoping I can answer some of those through this portion of the presentation as well. But as Jessica said, here is a sample of the courses that you'll be taking in your junior year. These courses, you would take 2 in the spring, 2 in the fall, 2 in the spring. So we would assign those courses to you. So you may be taking biology and film in the fall, or you may be taking psychology and sociology in the fall, and then you'll switch into the other sections in the spring. As well as our fall course option, our fall and spring course options, we also have our optional summer course. So before you start the program at DVC in the fall, we offer a Counseling 120 course, which is an optional counseling course that is taught by our College Connect counselor, typically taught by our College Connect counselor, that introduces you to college, helps you work on those study skills before you start the program in the fall, and then gets you ready to attend your classes in the fall. So that's part of one of our optional course classes. And then your senior year, again, you can take an optional course over the summer to get to the full 30 units before you graduate high school. Oftentimes we'll have a public speaking course over that summer in between, but it's open to different options as well. And our senior year courses, we have our political science and economics, which you'll take in the fall. These are your high school graduation requirements that we're fulfilling with this program. And then our spring, we have history 124 and oceanography. And you'll see on these slides, these courses are subject to change as we develop our program. These have been consistent for a while, so I'm not expecting too many changes in the next year, but just as an FYI, to keep your eyes open if there are changes to that. And again, if you take all of these courses and you take the 2 summer courses, you will earn up to 30 units of IGETC requirements. So IGETC are the requirements to transfer to a UC. Most of these, in fact, all of these courses also apply to CSUs. So if you're interested in transferring to a CSU, they will also work for that. If you end up not taking the 2 summer courses, then you'll end with about 24 transferable units, which just means you'll make up those extra 6 units when you graduate high school. Okay, and then we have a look at a sample schedule. So again, our summer, this will be summer 2023, we have our Counseling 120 course. In the past, obviously with COVID, we've been offering most of our classes online, but we are starting to come back to campus. We're not sure this summer if we'll be offering this one online or in person on our campus, but we are trying to move back towards in person. So most of our classes, aside from this one, will be in person on our campus. If it is going to be in person, or even if it's going to be synchronously offered online, these classes over the summer are offered Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So it is a larger time commitment because it's a shorter semester over the summer. And then when we get into the fall, like I said, your schedule will depend on which courses you've been assigned. So if you've been assigned psychology and sociology for the fall, this is a sample schedule. We have our classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And typically with this schedule, we'll have a longer day on Tuesday and a shorter day on Thursday. And then for the spring semester, we have our biology and film. And because our biology has a separate lab component, it means you'll have the longer day on Tuesday and on Thursday. And again, the spring and the fall semester schedules will flip depending on which courses you've been assigned. So what are your options after College Connect? These are some of the options that you have if you decide to continue at DVC or at a community college in California after you graduate high school. So since you've completed 30 units of transferable coursework, what you can do is you can stay at DVC for an additional year to finish up the rest of the 30 units that you'll need for a total of 60 units of transferable coursework, which is required to transfer to a UC or a CSU as a junior. So while you're at DVC, you can apply for guaranteed admissions to participate in UC campuses with our TAG program. You can also apply for an associate's degree. Again, this requires 60 units, so you've already completed half of the units for your degree, depending on the subject. And to note, students who complete the AAT, which is an Associates for Transfer, or AST, are guaranteed admission to the CSU system. So whether you're planning on going to a UC or a CSU, we have plenty of options at DVC for that. Or if you decided that you want to go into a different path, into a career certificate, we also have those options. Again, these are all options for if you decide to continue at DVC after high school graduation. If you wanted to apply directly to a UC or CSU or a different four-year college, you would still be applying as a freshman, unless you completed that extra 30 units, that extra year at a community college before transferring. Jessica, did you have a comment too?
Oh, no, thank you.
Okay.
I was just going to go over the application process
Yeah,
now.
perfect.
So the application, which will be available online on the College Connect website or page of the San Ramon Valley Unified website tomorrow morning, includes the student application, parent, guardian, caregiver questions, and will also need 2 teacher input forms. So the way that, and this is through the website Informed K-12, which many of our families are familiar with for other forms, the student will complete the first portion. The student will enter the names of the 2 adult recommenders, so the teacher name and district email address, so Jessica Colson and Jay Colson at srvusd.net, into the student portion of the application. And then on the final submission page, we'll enter the parent, guardian, caregiver email address. The application will then go to the parent, guardian, caregiver for completion, and a separate form will be emailed out by our office to the 2 teacher recommenders. So the teacher recommenders do not complete any part of the student or parent caregiver part of the application. They complete a totally separate application. And I know that that's a little bit confusing. So the teacher recommenders will receive their links for their form, and then they will be contacted and they will submit it directly to our office. I do want to read the note at the bottom that the student applications are due online because it's an online form no later, and this is a typo that I will correct before we update the slide deck, Wednesday, February 8th. So by Wednesday, February 8th, which is 2 weeks from tomorrow, that is when the student application is due. That is not when the teacher recommender application is due. They have a little bit more time, but the students and the parents must be complete by the 8th. So this is an overview, kind of a summary of the timeline of what to expect. Like I said, the applications are due on February 8th by 4 p.m. By mid-March, students will be notified of their status in the program. And by the end of the month, the DVC online application is due for accepted students. So once students get accepted into our program, and have to apply to DVC and become a student at DVC. In mid-April, so right after spring break, the summer and the fall dual enrollment forms are due to DVC, and students will complete their online English and math placement assessments. All of these things will be supported by DVC and San Ramon Valley Unified staff. So the College Connect teachers and counselors and DVC staff will be walking students through all of these assessments, how to apply, which forms to submit, all of that information. So students will not be going into this process by themselves. And then at the end of April, we will be having a spring orientation for the 8th cohort of College Connect. It will be at 5:30 p.m. and we know it will be at the end of April. We have not yet determined whether it will be online or whether it will be in person at DVC San Ramon campus. And then summer term, the tentative dates for that are June 12th through July 27th. And that is for students who are wishing to take the Counseling 120 class. And then the main fall term dates are from August 21st through December 8th. One thing I do want to note is that admittance into this program is an acceptance students to engage in the program is a commitment to adhere to both the San Ramon Valley Unified School Calendar as well as the DVC school calendar. Unfortunately, not all of our holidays align. Sometimes our spring break dates align. However, historically, DVC does not get the entire week off for Thanksgiving break, and students in the College Connect program are expected to attend the classes that are scheduled on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So generally the Tuesday class. And so that is something that as a student of DVC enrolled in a DVC class, it is incumbent upon the student to work that out with the professor if they're going to be missing class. The district cannot excuse absences for students in DVC classes because we have no authority over those classes. Our institution has no authority over the DVC institution. So students will be dealing with two different schools essentially as part of this program. And that concludes our presentation. I know that there have been a lot of questions popping up in the Q&A, so I'm going to go ahead and start kind of sifting through those. We can see how many, and I'm not sure. Sarah, do you want to read them? Let's see.
Sure, I can pull out a couple. I've been typing away too, so
Sure.
Let's see. What if my kid cannot complete the program after starting College Connect? Tough question to start.
I would feel like I need a little bit more information. They can't complete their program because of the rigor of the classes and they feel unprepared. They can't complete the program because of outside commitments. They can't complete the program because they have changed their mind and no longer want to participate. I think all of this is situation dependent. We ask that students think about their commitments and their priorities, and this does need to be a priority. It may prevent some students from participating in the program if they are heavily involved in school sports or other extracurricular activities at their high school that might conflict with the classes. I feel like every year we run up against a couple of students with those conflicts who perhaps didn't anticipate it, or the drama program or the sports team or the you name it club changed whatever dates that they had originally scheduled practices and rehearsals for, and then it became a conflict. Generally, students are able to work it out. There have been a couple of rare occasions over the years where students have had to make a choice between the program and their high school extracurricular or sports activity. That would happen after a long discussion with the College Connect teacher and the site counselor, and also keeping in the loop the professor whose classes would be impacted. So I think it's not a very specific answer, but it really is situational dependent.
All right, this one I can take a shot at. Does it mean 2 hours per week outside of class hours? So I'm interpreting this as how much time is required for the classes and how much time is required outside of class for homework and studying. So for each of our fall and spring semesters, you're taking between 6 and 7 college units. And for each college unit, you're expected to have 2 hours outside of class to study and do homework. So for example, if you're taking 6 units, you would take your 6 hours of course, and then you would also have 12 hours of studying. So this is a large time commitment, like Jessica was saying. This does need to be a priority. Obviously, we don't want to conflict with your high school classes either. You're going to have to learn to balance those two things, but these are college classes and they do expect the same level as any other college class.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to take a stab at some of these as well. On average, how many students apply and how many get accepted who apply to the program? So the acceptance rate is every year's cohort, we aim to fill all 15 spaces at each site. So for each comprehensive high school, there will be 15 students who are sophomores who will be rising juniors for the 8th cohort. The number of applications does vary. We generally, I can let you know right now that there are approximately 250 people on this call. I do realize that some are parents and not everybody on here is a student, but if you want to, let's just say roughly average that there are probably 200 families on this call. Somewhere in that neighborhood or upwards of over 200 students generally apply to the program every year.
There's a couple on here about AP. So is this different than AP classes? And what are the benefits of doing College Connect versus taking more AP classes in terms of getting the student into a 4-year college?
I can take that one.
Okay.
So community college classes that are transferable to a 4-year college or institution receive a weighted grade on the high school transcript. They are different than AP classes because an AP class is designed as a high school class, but with the rigor and the depth a college or university class, which is why it is awarded an extra point in the GPA. All college classes that are transferable, so the vast majority of those offered at DVC are transferable in grade. Only select courses offered at the student's high school are AP and would receive a weighted grade. With regard to the benefits of getting the student into a four-year college, that is something that is exclusively student dependent. And I cannot answer that question without having, without sitting down with a student and understanding their educational goals, what type of college they want to get into, what type of career path they would like to take, what are their aspirations for a degree after their bachelor's degree. It's really dependent on many of those circumstances. And I would say that if a student is applying directly to a four-year college after high school and has engaged in the College Connect program or has taken coursework at a community college, four-year colleges and universities will see that, and will see that they have had exposure to college level curricula and college level experiences that round out their experience as a student.
I have a couple advantage of this program as compared to concurrent enrollment. And there's a lot in here. I'm trying to scroll back up to it. Is College Connect different from DVC, dual enrollment, or special admit? If so, what are the differences? I can take this one on. Okay. So College Connect is a specific program. It's a CCAP program, which we call a DVC dual enrollment. So this is like I said, a program where we have assigned courses that you are expected to take. These courses are mandatory for participation in the program. So you would be taking the courses that we've listed. If you're interested in taking courses outside of that, or if you're interested in taking completely different courses, that's when you would take what we call concurrent enrollment, which is where you independently enroll in courses at DVC. The biggest differences, aside from the courses being selected for you, is the level of support that you'll receive in College Connect. So if you're taking a class independently as a concurrent student, you don't have that support class, you don't have access to DVC's counselors, you have to pay for your textbooks on your own. So for some students, that's fine. They're willing to do that and still succeed in the course. But for other students, a supportive environment, having that support class at the high school, having the cohort of students is really helpful in them succeeding in their college courses. So they're different. Typically, if you are in the College Connect program, you can take additional courses in concurrent enrollment, although I highly recommend and require actually that you speak with your high school counselor about that to make sure that you're not overloading yourself too much. But if you took a look at those classes and you're thinking, I maybe one or two sound interesting, but the rest I'm not that interested in, then I would check in with your high school counselor about concurrent enrollment.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to take a couple here. How many classes can you take at the San Ramon Unified School maximum? Does it conflict with the graduation requirements? So that really is dependent on the high school bell schedule. Some bell schedules, because each high school is on a different bell schedule, some accommodate students. All will accommodate 4 periods plus the additional support class that meets once a week, and others may allow for 5 depending on the bell schedule. And then that goes into another question: what is the support class when is the support class during school hours? Yes, it is slated for one of the periods in the student's bell schedule, in the high school bell schedule, but meets only once a week. The next one is, does the American Ethnic Cultures and Film class count as art credit for high school graduation and UC A to G? Yes, it satisfies the high school fine art requirement as well as the F category for the A to G requirements for fine art.
I have one, and I've seen it a couple places. Ooh, I just lost it, of course. It was something along the lines of, we talked about UCs and CSUs, but we didn't talk about private and out-of-state colleges. Can you transfer these courses to those colleges or universities as well? Typically, yes, although it depends on the school. So private UCs and CSUs have standardized general education patterns, standardized transfer requirements, at least for California community colleges. So that's how we can guarantee that these classes will transfer to a UC or CSU. Private schools do their own thing typically. If they use one of the standardized general education patterns, then the courses should transfer. But at the end of the day, it is dependent on that school's processes. Same with out-of-state universities. It just depends on that state and that school's acceptance of the courses. But typically, I mean, most of these are general education courses that would be offered at any school. So typically, most if not all of them will transfer.
So Sarah, we're getting a lot of questions for which UCs are part of the program, which UCs participate. I'm wondering if that's and that was a while ago. So I'm wondering if that's in reference to the tag comment. Would you like to speak to that?
Sure. So for College Connect specifically, we don't have any direct connection with UCs. Like I said, our courses transfer to any UC, any CSU. But if you're talking specifically about the TAG program, which is a transfer admission guarantee program that you can sign up for if you continue at DVC after high school graduation, I believe all of the UCs participate except for UC Berkeley, UC Davis, and there is one additional one that I'm always forgetting. San Diego, thank you. But again, that's something that you would do after you graduate high school when you attend DVC. It's not something that's part of the College Connect program. Our courses just apply towards your transfer when you do fill out the transfer application.
Thank you. Okay, so then we have a couple questions with regard to the classes that were listed in the presentation. Are the 4 courses listed for junior year and senior year the only ones offered in College Connect? Yes, the courses have been predetermined with between the district and the college, and they cannot be substituted. So if students are wishing to take courses outside of this list, then concurrent enrollment is probably a better option, and participation in College Connect might not be the best fit. The slides will be, I'm going to answer 2 questions that in my queue are right next to each other. Where will these slides be posted? And the February 8th due date is for next school year. So yes, the February 8th school date or due date for the application is for admittance into the program, current sophomores for their junior year next year. And then the slides will be posted on the College Connect page of the San Ramon Valley Unified School District website.
Oh, here's one. I answered a couple times in the chat, but just in case, will spring and fall classes be online? So we don't have our schedules yet for fall or spring, or even summer at this point. So we're not 100% sure, but like I said, we are moving more towards in-person courses. All of our juniors this year are taking their classes in person. So I would expect that to be the case next year as well. It's just the summer classes that I'm not as confident in, but it can change. As we've seen in the last few years, things can change pretty quickly, but we're expecting things to be offered in person.
I'm going to take one that says, can we start in fall versus summer 2023 for accepted students? So all students in the 8th cohort, the ones who are applying right now, are expected to start in the fall. Some students may choose to take the optional Counseling 120 class in the summer of 2023. How will these courses and credits come up on the high school transcript? They will appear as courses taken in DVC, and they will show 10 credits per course with a weighted grade factoring into the student's GPA. When does the summer program start? So students have the option of taking one course, that Counseling 120 course, in summer of 2023 before their junior year, and then an additional course in summer of 2024 before their senior year.
I'm gonna take, why do kids need to take a math placement test? Are they allowed to take college level math like Calc 3 or linear algebra as part of College Connect? I'm not 100% sure what the first question is in reference to. We tend to have our students take our general placement tool when they join the program so that they're able to clear the economics prerequisite. But aside from that, we don't include math with the College Connect program. The courses that we listed there, like I said, fulfill, or I don't know if we said this, they fulfill social behavioral sciences, arts, humanities, our science requirements, but we don't include classes that cover math. So if you wanted to take higher level math courses like that, you would have to take it outside of the program.
I have, where might concurrently enrolled students get similar academic assistance and support? Is it through Monte Vista or DVC? Concurrently enrolled students will receive their academic support from their high school counselor.
Can I answer a question that I saw as well?
Mhm.
So I've actually seen a few questions. I've tried to answer a few that could probably be answered by the support teacher at your child's school. And all four of us are advertising opportunities for students to come and meet with us this week and next week. So I would encourage you to encourage your child to come and check in with those support teachers. We can answer a lot of the questions that come up typically regarding, can we do sports, or what does the workload look like, or what can we expect from the support class, and how do we balance our schedule? And we're also inviting our school counselors to come to these sessions. And we do have a designated counselor at each site to work with the College Connect students, and they will come to these question and answer sessions. So you can also ask some of those transcript questions and some of those transferring questions and things like that of those counselors to see if this program would be right for your family.
So there are a handful of questions in the chat about how are students evaluated for acceptance into the program. There are many different factors that go into evaluating a student's application. There is the student portion, the parent, guardian, caregiver portion, and the letters of support for the student. Those are evaluated by a team of people, and a consensus decision is made. How are the courses selected for students who take 7 periods in high school? Students who take 7 periods, students are unable to take a 7-period day. They will take a 4-period day with 2 classes at DVC.
There's one, are all the kids in the class all high school students? This depends on the class. Some of our classes like biology and oceanography, we fill the entire class with College Connect students, so that's going to be completely high school students. But some of our classes like film and psychology and sociology will occasionally have a couple of college students as well. It just depends on the class maximum and if college students are interested in enrolling in the class. But mostly it will be all high school students or primarily high school students. There's another one. What is the limit of credits that a concurrently enrolled high school student can take in the summer outside of the counseling class? For dual enrollment, technically you can take up to 15 units, although I really would not recommend that, especially in the summer, because it's such a short term. It's only a 6-week term. Typically for your if it's your first time taking concurrent enrollment at DVC, I would just start with the counseling class or maybe an additional class. But again, you're required to go through your high school counselor for any classes you take at DVC. So definitely check in with them about the level of work that is expected of you, especially in such a short term.
I have a question here. Is this program only for very high achieving students, or is it also for students looking for a different high school experience? It is absolutely for students who are looking for a different high school experience. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, there is no one profile of student who fits this program. Over the years, we have students who have been historically high achieving at their high schools, and we have had students who have not been as competitive academically, and all have enjoyed success in the program.
I've seen a couple times that I mentioned it in the presentation, but just to reiterate, if the student, when the student graduates high school, if they have completed the 30 units with the College Connect program, or even if they've completed the 24 units with the College Connect program, and they want to go directly into a 4-year university, they would apply as freshmen. If they stay at DVC or at another California community college and they finish 30 additional units, so for a total of 60 units, they're eligible to apply to transfer as a junior. And I think I saw another question or two about if like if they apply as a freshman, do those credits still count? Yes, those credits still do transfer. It's just that you would have to check in with your transfer institution's counselor on how those will be applied to your record and how that will affect, like, if you graduate in 3 years or 4 years.
When will students be notified if they're accepted? All students will be notified of their status in mid-March. So there are a handful of questions coming up in the Q&A about, is this program beneficial for helping my student get into college? Is this good for UC colleges? I would say, first and foremost, this program is designed to support students who want to have a different learning experience than just attending all high school classes. Second, it provides students with a little bit more flexibility and autonomy over their learning because they are able to go and experience learning in a different environment at DVC. It also allows students the opportunity to learn how college classes are structured, as they do every day, and much of the onus is on the student to complete work outside of the synchronous meeting times, like Sarah described earlier, with regard to 1 hour in class, 2 hours outside of class is the expectation. So if students are able to take advantage of these opportunities and they excel in these classes and in their high school classes, and by excel, I mean getting information and understanding and a positive experience out of it, not just straight A's, then this will serve them well in college and after college. But it is not, there is no guarantee that a student who completes this program will get admission into a UC campus over one of their peers in high school who has not completed the program. There are so many factors that go into college admissions decisions that we cannot point to this being a make or break factor. There are also a lot of questions about, can we substitute classes, or what is the basis for picking these classes? These classes were designed to support students in meeting their high school graduation requirements, to offer up students opportunities to explore courses that are not offered in our high schools. Some of the topics are not offered in our high schools, and to also meet IGETC requirements and general education requirements for the UCs and the CSUs. So we tried to address all three of those in picking the course selections. And because of the way that classes are structured, because of the way that schedules are built, we unfortunately cannot offer more flexibility in the courses that are offered. I will let you know that every year we have discussions about whether or not we should switch out a class for a different one. And we feel that we've achieved a pretty good balance between those three factors that I just described. That's not to say that they won't change sometime in the future, but if the courses are not appealing, then concurrent enrollment might be a better fit for you or for your student.
There's a question: if my student has an IEP, will they receive similar support in the College Connect program? That's a great question. We do have a disability support services office at DVC. However, it is slightly different from high school. So some of the supports that we are able to offer at a high school setting, we're not able to offer at the college setting. And one of the biggest changes is that the student has to advocate for themselves in their college classes for their accommodations. So if you're interested in the program, we can absolutely support students that have IEPs. But just know that you will need to meet with the Disability Support Services counselor and get set up with that program, and that the services that we provide may look a little bit different than at the high school site. And if you have more questions about that, like if you want to know what specific accommodations we can provide, I would recommend reaching out to the Disability Support Services office at DVC. Jessica, I don't know if you answered this in that last piece. I was busy reading questions.
Yeah.
I've seen a few questions about, like, oh, my student already took intro to psychology, my student already took biology. What do they do in those cases?
If there is one course that a student has already taken, then we can work with that student to figure out an alternative. There are a couple of different options. However, if students have taken a handful of courses that are on the College Connect course list, then it would seem to me that they are already well versed in DVC and have figured out which classes are best fits for them, and possibly concurrent enrollment will continue to be a good fit for them. I know there's a couple questions about scheduling, and so students will be like the Bell schedule at the high school. Students will be taking fewer classes next year in the College Connect program that will allow for travel time to DVC San Ramon campus.
This is slightly related to that last question, but what if my student already took one of the College Connect courses as a sophomore? Can they get high school grad credit? And what class can you take in substitution? So we already answered the substitution question, but did we answer the question about can they get high school grad credit?
If they choose to put it on their high school transcript as part of their 40 outside credits through the district's PLIs, then yes, they can. Are there any courses related to computer science as part of College Connect? Unfortunately, no, we do not have computer science. Where did it go? It popped away. What is the average grades students have received in these classes? I would say that that's all over all across the board, as is the grades that students earn in all classes in high school.
We do have a pretty high success rate. So that's good. I'll see if I can pull up the numbers specifically for what our success rate has been.
How does the GPA from college affect the GPA from high school? I think maybe that question was meaning to ask, are they factored in as weighted grades? And all College Connect classes are factored in as weighted grades into the high school GPA. There are also a couple of questions in here regarding specific majors or pathways, and I would encourage students to reach out to their school counselors regarding those questions. If we already have a trip planned during the summer session, is there any way to make that up? Because the summer class is optional and because those dates are pretty set, I would say that students would be unable to take the class. I think there was also another question about could we join halfway through on July 5th? That is probably past the drop add period for the college. I would have Sarah confirm that. And so I would say perhaps they could fit in Counseling 120 the following summer if the schedule allows for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've definitely had students who weren't able to take the counseling class before their junior year, but they were able to take it before their senior year, so they just join in with the next cohort of juniors. So sorry, I was just able to pull up the course success rate. So for our first 3 cohorts, so this is a while ago, but for our first 3 cohorts, we consistently had over a 90% success rate. So that's students that passed their courses.
Can you please confirm that all credits transfer if the student goes directly to UC or CSU after completing high school?
Yes. So like I said, it depends on the UC or CSU will let you know how they will apply those credits. So like I said, if it means that you'll be able to finish early or depending on what courses they'll assign you for your major. But they will transfer. It just you won't be transferring in as a junior.
Is the correlation in a handout showing the College Connect classes and what A to G requirement they meet, as well as a high school requirement. We don't have that information, but I love that suggestion and we will work on that.
I see a question about, I have an international student that wants to enter UC as a freshman during the fall. Can he still do some DVC courses? I'm not 100% sure about the student situation. If they've already graduated high school, then they would attend DVC as a high school graduate. And so they would go through our typical application and enrollment processes. If they're on an F1 visa, they would need to check in with the International Students Office. But that's outside of the College Connect program and outside of high school enrollment.
How many students drop out of the program? I would say over the years, we have had one, maybe two. I wouldn't even say per year. It's very infrequent.
Yeah, and it really depends on the individual student situation. Sometimes students move. That is a pretty common reason for students to drop the program. But yeah, it's really dependent on the student. There's a couple questions. What if you don't get accepted in junior year? Can you join for senior year? No, at this point it is a junior start. So if you miss out on the program, definitely reach out to your high school counselor for some concurrent enrollment options. And we do sometimes offer additional CCAP courses that you may be able to take outside of College Connect that will also give you some college credits before you graduate high school.
Somebody is asking for the College Connect support teacher for the school. So I will go ahead and add that to the presentation before we upload it to the website tomorrow. Is it possible to do AP classes at the homeschool and DVC classes also? It is possible. I would strongly encourage the student to look at the overall workload and the balance and other responsibilities and activities in their life to determine what is the best fit and what are the academic goals that they're trying to achieve. Somebody's asking if there's a contact person at DVC for questions about College Connect. If you have questions following this program, you can reach out to me for them and I will try to answer them. If not, I can get an answer from DVC. What is the earliest start time for DVC classes? For College Connect DVC classes?
That was that question for me.
Yeah.
Typically our classes start around 2:30 and the latest they go is usually 7:30 or so, depending on the scheduling. So like I said, depending on which courses you're assigned for which semester, you'll typically have a long day, so that's like 2:30 to 7, and potentially a short day, which is 2:30 to 4.
Do we need reference letters from teachers? Yes, you will need 2 from teachers, from somebody at the school. So teachers, counselors, assistant principals, but I would say mostly the best person to do this would be a teacher who knows you well. And you will put their name and their email address into your portion of the student application, and then they will receive a different invitation to complete their portion. What happens if a student doesn't maintain the 2.5 GPA? Do they get dismissed from the program? What happens with their high school courses? So before it gets to that point, the student and possibly the parent or caregiver would have meetings with the support teacher, with the counselor, to figure out what's going on, why is the student struggling academically, and what types of supports can be offered. And then after that, if there is still not any improvement, or if the student is still continuing to struggle, we would have more conversations and the student possibly could be removed from the program. It would really depend on what types of supports the student needs best to survive academically, not just in College Connect and in DVC courses, but also in their high school classes in order to earn a high school diploma.
I have a couple more questions about TAG. I think I misspoke earlier. I think I said that UC Davis does not accept TAG, but it does. There is a website. If you just Google TAG UC, you can see all the schools that accept that. Again, it's not really part of the College Connect program, so it's a little bit outside of the scope of this webinar, but they have a lot of information on their website about TAG.
Also, in many of the counseling presentations for the parent information evenings, they will list the specifics of the TAG program as for students after who want to community college after high school. Assuming community college is still free for 2 years after high school graduation, does this program affect this in any way? I think the only way that it would affect it is that students don't need to utilize the 2 years of the first time full-time free tuition. They may be able to complete community college in a shorter amount of time. How can students participate in sports and do this program? That unfortunately is sport dependent. There are some sports with regard to their practice and their game schedule that could allow for participation in the program. And there are other sports that have practices and games scheduled during the classes, and students have found it not possible to participate in both programs. So they have had to make a choice between their high school sport team or this College Connect program.
This one we already kind of answered, but I'll answer again here. What is the big difference between College Connect and concurrent enrollment? Can a student that is not accepted as College Connect accomplish the same thing with concurrent enrollment? So we did talk a little bit about how College Connect and dual enrollment in general offers that additional layer of support. So you have the support class at the high school, you have the counselor at DVC. An additional thing that I forgot to mention earlier is that seats are reserved for College Connect students. So we have these classes specifically for College Connect students. So their seats are reserved. They're able to register earlier for their College Connect classes. Whereas for concurrent enrollment, you don't have that extra layer of support. You don't have access to the counselors at DVC. And you have last priority for registration. So if there's, it's definitely possible to enroll in all of these same classes as a concurrent enrollment student. It's just a little bit more challenging because you have to do it all on your own typically, or with your high school counselor, and seats are not reserved for high school students.
I have, if the students do College Connect, do they need to appear for the SAT or ACT too? So the SAT and the ACT are placement exams for colleges. No, I'm sorry, not placement exams, but they are exams that are one factor in the college admissions decision. Many schools have moved to test optional, where they do not require the SAT or the ACT. However, if a school does require or strongly recommend the SAT or the ACT, then yes, students will need to take this. If they will need to take this in addition to the College Connect classes. If they are committed to completing the College Connect program and then staying at a community college and applying to a four-year college or university as a transfer student, then no, they do not need to take the SAT or the ACT. Those tests are only for high school students who are applying directly to four-year colleges and universities. Sarah, there's a question on here. What is the timeline for concurrent enrollment? The person cannot find the information on the DVC website.
Yeah, so it kind of depends on what semester you're talking about. For spring, the timeline, we're already in our spring semester. So if you're interested in taking classes right now, you'd want to definitely reach out as soon as possible. For summer, we don't have all of our registration dates or our schedule available yet. Typically, we will have the schedule released in April, and the registration will take place in May. But it just depends on on DVC's calendar. So as we get those dates, we'll post them on the website, and that's where we'll be able to see them. If you look up, if you go to our website, go to apply now, and go through the application process. There's an option for high school students after that. That's where you can find a bunch of information about how to fill out the forms, how to fill out prerequisites and all that kind of stuff. So that information is on our website. It just might not have the dates yet.
If a student is choosing College Connect, is it advisable to choose regular courses in high school rather than AP so that they can manage their workload? Again, that is student dependent. Some students have found the ability to manage a heavier high school workload with some AP courses and the DVC classes, and some students have opted to college prep level classes and along with the DVC classes. It is, again, dependent on the student's abilities, their outside commitments, and their educational goals. Okay, it looks like most of the questions have already been answered. I really appreciate your time and attention this evening. Like we mentioned, I will be adding information about the graduation requirements and the UC A to G subject areas with regard to what these classes satisfy onto the slide deck, as well as the individual high school, college support teacher and counselor contact information before posting this on our website tomorrow. The application will be live tomorrow morning, and it is again due on Wednesday, February 8th. Sophomore students should be looking out for contact information coming from their sites with regard to support and information sessions to be hosted at lunch or during access periods in order for students at that particular high school to go and meet with the College Connect support teacher for more information about the program. So thank you again so much for being here and have a great evening.